What's going on? You here for everything you need to know about extraction games? Alright, let me open up the gates. Welcome back to the Extract. Today, I'm going to cover the extraction genre as a whole. I'm going to go into the definition, the audience, and the past, present, and future of the genre. Sound good? Alright, let's get inside. The industry definition of the genre, extraction shooter or looter shooters, is a little loose at the moment since it's relatively new. But across most extraction games, they have a few core elements. The most important element being the fact that in order to succeed, you must safely leave the game at the end of the match. There is usually a loot mechanic, quests that propel the lore of the game, a stash with resource management, loadouts, and typically extraction games are survival based, in the sense that if you die, you suffer some kind of penalty, like losing your equipped gear. Other minor elements include an interactive hideout, trade system, and crafting. Extraction shooters have been mostly PvPvE, meaning you're fighting other players and NPCs, but PvE extraction games are out there. In summary, extraction games are challenging scenario-based combat simulators that offer both PvP and PvE elements that are geared towards survival, while typically using riches as a gauge for success. Alright, sounds great, but who's the intended audience? Well, a great thing about this genre is how unique each new extraction game seems. You've got Tarkov for your military sim, Dark and Darker for your fantasy fix, Zero Seafort for your post-apocalyptic setting, Hunt Showdown for your horror western vibe, and more. Now, there are some similarities between the games, but the developers do a great job of taking it in their own direction. So my point is since there are so many different styles of extraction games out at the moment, the audiences vary, but there are a few common underlying traits in the players. For one, the players are able to handle a larger level of stress, since the loot and gear mechanics leads to gear fear. Gear fear is basically the adrenaline that courses through you when you have something you don't want to lose. Oh man, I got this sick new SIG spear that I wanted so bad. I hope I can make it out alive and hoard it in my stash all wipe. This heightened level of anxiety leads to gunfire scaring the hell out of you. When I was a Timmy learning Tarkov, a gunshot not even at me would make me jump. I've played it all, standard multiplayer shooters, battle royales, you name it. Extraction shooters takes the cake on the adrenaline rush of combat. It takes time to control, but once you do, that adrenaline exhilarates you like none other. The pleasure I get from killing one person in Tarkov is worth at least 50 kills in COD. Now, this is a common emotion throughout most extraction games. On top of that, in order to survive extraction games, the player needs to know how to take a punch. At any moment, you can lose it all, and it might not be for an honorable reason. If you die in glorious combat, well, at least you shot your gun and had some fun. But rats are everywhere in the PvP extraction games. Rats are gamers who sneak around the map or camp in important locations and kill you when you least expect it. Imagine you played a 30-minute raid, killed some fools, looted some goodies, and you're on your way out. You reach the finish line, and boom, one tap. You're done. You lost it all. But so what? You'll take a lap, come back, kit up, and get back out there. Extraction games are very emotional. They can cause heightened levels of anxiety and adrenaline. Also, they kick you in the pants and then kick you some more. If you can't handle this, the extraction genre is not for you. Based on the data, it seems the age range of the player base for this genre is mostly in their 20s to 30s. Speaking from experience, I think that makes sense. Most of the people I met online playing extraction games are married and have kids. I can only speculate why this is, but I would guess it would have to do with the fact that many early extraction games are not easily accessible. Most are not on Steam and require a strong PC. Shoot, you could have a strong PC and still not play a game like Tarkov. I think variables like these and the traits I mentioned earlier weed out a lot of young gamers. So I mentioned earlier that the extraction genre is fairly new, but when did it really start and what was the first game? Well, some people argue that 1994's XCOM UFO was one of the first extraction games. It meets a lot of the criteria like loadouts, resource management, risk, reward, and of course, extraction. At the time though, this genre wasn't established. It took until about 2016 for the extraction genre to really separate itself with the release of side extraction missions like the Dark Zones in The Division to full-on games like Escape from Tarkov. Naturally, there's debate over which game really started the genre, but the primary candidate is Escape from Tarkov. If you go by dates, then extraction games have been around for a few decades. But if you go by what started the trend leading to its own category of game modes, well, it's Tarkov. Tarkov is really the first successful full-on extraction game, surviving now for about 8 years with a large player base. Survival has been a major obstacle for this genre. Many games fell off real quick, so other developers looked to Tarkov as a template. At the very least, Escape from Tarkov has been the spearhead for the extraction genre for many years. Alright, you got some history, but what's the current state of the union for extraction games? Overall, the genre is growing. More and more games are coming out classifying themselves under this genre. Some people think extraction games are going to be the next big thing, while others don't. Personally, I think the genre will grow, but I think in order for it to really become the next big thing, it would have to evolve in a whole new way. And at that point, it would be a totally different animal. How and why? Well, think of the age demographics that start viral trends, and then think of the age range I mentioned these games seem to target. Yeah, they aren't the same.
We speak different languages.
If you want something to go viral and trend in the gaming industry, you're going to have to cater to some younger crowds and more casual gamers. Historically, that's one thing this genre doesn't do. Extraction games would have to come out with battle passes, skins, and a lot of flashy lights and switches to appease certain demographics' dopamine feedback loop. Also, gratification typically comes slower in the extraction genre, which weeds out a huge sample of demographics, since especially in video games, a lot of people seek quick gratification. I get it, not everybody has hours to play a game. Now, some extraction games like Hawked and Hunt Showdown are trying to incorporate these elements to try and obtain these other demographics, but the genre as a whole hasn't mastered it quite yet. Shoot, in my opinion, I hope they don't. I strongly dislike all the elements that make something trendy. If Tarkov adds cosmetics or a battle pass, dude, I'd probably quit. I have to admit though.
To be fair.
Helldivers 2 is pretty fun and definitely blew up. I think objectively, it has done the best to maneuver the variables I just mentioned in a successful way. It's a game that balanced the hardcore nature of extraction games and a more casual game style. There's several challenging difficulties that you and your friends can strive to conquer. There's resource loot to keep an eye out for. There's loadouts, mission-based tasks, and of course, extraction. This chaotic game does a great job of exhilarating you, but at the cost of nothing but the time if you fail. It has long game modes and short ones. You and your buddies share lives, so no one's left watching the remainder of the game, and there's in-game purchases and cosmetics that appeal to the eye. For those reasons and more, it seems to work. The extraction genre is on a teeter-totter between its hardcore roots and appealing to different powerful demographics. Navigating the way forward is gonna be tricky, but we may be inching closer to the Fortnite of the extraction genre. Overall, the future is bright for extraction shooters. I think the genre will go through what battle royales did. Some hardcore battle royales like H1Z1 and PUBG pioneered the genre, and eventually the game evolved into the extremely trendy Fortnite. I think we're still in the pioneering days for the extraction genre, which I feel is very exciting. The next big thing can be right around the corner. Many new extraction games have been announced, including Beautiful Light, Gray Zone Warfare, Ark Raiders, Marathon, a PUBG extraction mode, The Division Heartland, and so much more. It seems like every studio is trying to make an extraction game. Call of Duty even made their most recent Zombies mode an extraction, which is a massive deal for the genre. Zombies has been around for over a decade, and they made it an extraction game. That's huge. That means AAA developers' data is pointing to extraction games growing in popularity. Why else would you make one of the most beloved minigames a brand new style of gameplay? If you want more information on what's out there and what's coming, check out the card in the top right corner or check out my channel. I've been reviewing released extraction games under the Extraction Review playlist. Also, here's another card in the top right corner for 9 extraction games you can play right now. My goal is to make a community around the extraction genre. So let me know if you find an extraction game you want me to check out, and I'll do the same. If you guys got any suggestions for extraction videos or topics for discussion, let me know down in the comments. Thanks for watching. I'll catch you back at the kill cam. Peace.